Storms are possible for part of our area this afternoon. I'll walk you through the timeline and show you who has the best chance of seeing some rain.
Wake Med officer charged. A man faces a judge after being accused of kidnapping and terrorizing a woman. But we're learning about his case from his first court appearance. Quest for the Cup. The Canes are gearing up for Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final against the Vegas Golden Knights. WRAL has full coverage ahead of tomorrow night's puck drop.
A cold front is crossing the area, but it won't bring much needed rain. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Laura Levine.
Yes, the opposite of what we want to hear. I'm Chris Lovingood. We do have meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner right now in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with a look at who could see a few isolated storms. We're talking about like a big part of our area, Elizabeth?
No, not really, unfortunately. We take a look here at Dual Doppler 5000 radar. You can really see where the bulk of the rain is, and that's over toward the coast. There's a low that's riding up the coast, and that's pushing in enough moisture near the coast to produce some showers and thunderstorms. And we do have a cold front that's dropping in. We did have a couple of showers in southeastern Wayne County there, but you can see that has moved out. So nothing's technically falling in the viewing area right now. This is a look at the big picture. Our cold front starting to drop in on us. Here's the low. And again, it is pushing a little bit of moisture northward. That front will interact with that moisture, but the bulk of it is closer to the coast. So it's just not going to line up really for us to see a whole lot of rain. This is Futurecast here at noon. We'll push it ahead to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And we do have a couple of light showers that show up around the triangle north and west. A few cells develop from Goldsboro, maybe to Fayetteville to Clinton. And some of those could bring some brief heavy rain, but we're still talking around a tenth of an inch probably or less. And then once we get past 5 or 6, we just turn to partly cloudy skies, and that's it. And we don't have any more rain in the forecast until maybe Sunday, and that's a big maybe. It feels nice outside and looks beautiful. This is our Jimmy V camera looking down toward Memorial Auditorium, blue sky, looking pretty, 80 degrees, and our dew point is 62. That's not bad. If it was 72, it would really feel, sticky and like summer, but that 62 dew point feels just fine. Our temperature at 4 o'clock, 87 degrees, and there may be some showers and thunderstorms south and east of the triangle. But if you're headed out to the soccer tournament for the big finals, it's going to be warm at 4 o'clock when they open the gates, but we're looking at 6 o'clock for that first round to begin, and it should feel pretty comfortable at that point, and even more comfortable tomorrow. We'll check that out coming up.
Happening now in the WRAL Live Center, a Shelby, North Carolina police officer facing assault charges this noon hour. The North Carolina Bureau of Investigation charging 22-year-old officer Carson Hyder with one count of assault inflicting serious injuries. Now, he turned himself in to the Cleveland County Detention Center around 10 o'clock this morning. He was processed and released on $10,000 bond. Now, the SBI initiated this investigation following a request by the Shelby Police Chief and the Cleveland County District Attorney. We will be following this case and bringing any new developments here in the WRAL Live Center.
Yeah, certainly we'll be watching that carefully. Thank you, Ken. Well, a judge has set a $250,000 bond for the Wake Met police officer facing kidnapping and assault charges. Jeremy Bond made his first court appearance in Wilson this morning after being arrested Friday.
Yes, WRAL's Flynn Snyder. He was in that hearing, and now he's live at the Wilson County Courthouse. Flynn, Bond urged the judge for bond in his case.
He did, Laura, saying he's a single father and wants to return to his kids. Bone appeared before a judge in handcuffs and an orange prison uniform this morning. The judge barred us from recording audio of the hearing. Bone faces 8 charges, including felony second-degree kidnapping stemming from an incident last week. Warrants accuse him of kidnapping a woman, pointing a rifle at her, cutting off some of her clothes with a box cutter, and preventing her from calling 911. WakeMed confirms that Bone was suspended from his role as a police officer after his arrest. While arguing for bond this morning, Bone told the judge, quote, "There is more to this than what's out there," end quote. As part of his bond conditions, Bone cannot contact the woman he's accused of assaulting. Meanwhile, a WakeMed spokesperson says their police department will undergo an internal review while also cooperating with this outside investigation. Meanwhile, Bone's next court date is set for later this month. Flynn Snyder, WRAL News, live in Wilson.
A ceremonial escort for a Virginia deputy killed on the job is expected to start soon. 31-year-old Deputy Logan Utt was killed Saturday night while performing a welfare check at a home. The Carroll County Sheriff's Office says that Michael Puckett opened fire on both deputies at that home. Utt died at the scene, and the other deputy is recovering from his injuries. Investigators say Puckett was captured in Surrey County, and he appeared in court this morning on a charge of aggravated murder.
Well, Raleigh water crews are on the scene right now working to repair a large sinkhole. Yonkers Road at the intersection of North Raleigh Boulevard is closed because of this storm water pipe collapse. The WRAL breaking news tracker arrived at the scene at 7:30 this morning. Traffic signs and orange tape surrounded the large hole, and Raleigh police were blocking that road. No word on when repairs will be completed. A driver is charged with DWI and reckless driving after a crash that knocked out power for hundreds of Raleigh customers. Police say Chesley Floyd was speeding on Whittaker Mill Road and struck a power pole on the south side of that road. After the crash, the vehicle landed on its roof. The driver and passenger were seriously injured and taken to Wake Med for treatment. Both are expected to be okay. Power has since been restored in this area. The Carolina Hurricanes are set to host Game 1 in their quest for Lord Stanley's Cup.
But first, they have to go through the Vegas Golden Knights.
Yeah.
And WRAL's Ken Smith is in the WRAL Live Center with more on this. Ken, you've been watching a news conference with Canes coach Rod Brindamore, players, and the Canes GM.
Well, it's just about to get on the way in just a little bit. We've got the feed going right now. It's Coach Brindamore, the GM Eric Tulsky. They're going to address the media shortly. You can see them getting ready for this news conference. You can see Coach Brindamore right now, and Mr. Tulsky just took their seats. We'll be listening in to see exactly what they'll be talking about. But I got to tell you, this is a situation where this news conference will tell us what the Canes are all about. They just finished a morning skate just a few minutes ago. And the Hurricanes actually lost to the Vegas Golden Knights this past season twice. But, you know, according to Carolina Hurricanes insider Adam Gold with 99.9 The Fan, throw out those games because it happened early in the season last October. So this is the Stanley Cup final, whole new Canes team. So NHL, you know, the loudest house in the league, the Lenovo Center. As WRAL's Monica Casey reports, the energy will be coming hot and heavy by fans tomorrow night.
The stage is set here at the Lenovo Center. Banners are up, and the Canes are hoping to hang a few more flags. New banners feature players with the Stanley Cup logo one day out from Game 1. Take a look at this view from Drone 5. The excitement isn't limited to the Lenovo Center. The Downtown Raleigh Alliance and the city are hosting watch parties in Moore Square. Those events on Tuesday and Thursday open at 7 with the puck drop scheduled for 8. Local vendors will be participating in those watch parties too. Whether you're watching the game here or somewhere else, there's still time to get your Canes gear. The Carolina Pro Shop is open until 5 today. At the Lenovo Center, Monica Casey, WRAL News.
Got to go get that swag. All right, thanks, Monica. Well, looking ahead to Games 3 and 4 of the Stanley Cup Final in Las Vegas, the Hurricanes announced the team will host watch parties for all road games in the series. Specific details on the watch parties have not been released by the team just yet.
And you can count on WRAL for complete team coverage of the Stanley Cup Final. Tomorrow, we'll take you live to Lenovo Center throughout our evening newscast and after the game, both on air and online. There's also much more Carolina Hurricanes coverage on the WRAL YouTube page. We have a playlist of the team's run-up to the final. It includes post-game interviews, reaction from fans, and analysis from our sports team.
Well, major cuts to North Carolina's healthcare industry could be months away. President Donald Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill Act cut $1 trillion from Medicaid. Rural areas disproportionately rely on Medicaid, and North Carolina has the second biggest rural population in the country. The cuts are expected to siphon billions of dollars from the state economy, and they could lead to layoffs or even hospital closures, especially in rural areas.
Why is it that we're like the underdog here of always fighting for rural health care when that's what the majority of our state actually is?
Our NC Capitol team interviewed top elected officials on both sides of the aisle for this story, and you can read more on what they're saying on WRAL.com.
A substance that's crowding emergency rooms in other states is showing up in the drug supply in our area. It's the focus of a WRAL investigation that's airing tonight. Scientists warn the withdrawal symptoms can be deadly. Tonight on WRAL News at 6, Heidi Kirk shows us how the hidden drug is already causing concerns in other states and what experts say needs to happen right now to keep it from becoming a bigger issue. Well, happening today, a new rule takes effect in Holly Springs that cracks down on e-bikes. The town council unanimously passed an ordinance regulating the use of e-bikes. It covers other electric personal travel devices.
Today, rescuers in Laos search for an alternate way into a flooded cave, and that's where 2 villagers are still believed to be trapped. In fact, 5 others initially trapped inside the cave have been rescued. Here's NBC's Janice Mackey-Fryer.
This morning, it's a race against time and harsh terrain to free 2 men still trapped in that cave in Laos. In the high-stakes rescue operation, so far the breakthrough came 1 survivor at a time. 4 men trapped for 10 days deep inside the flooded cave walked out on Saturday, exhausted, hungry, but elated to survive. 24 hours earlier, the first survivor was brought out by divers, giving the mission a burst of momentum. The multinational rescue team, involving specialists and divers from at least half a dozen countries, now focusing on those 2 men still missing. Inside the cave system, the risk for rescuers is all around them. Claustrophobic tunnels filled with sharp rocks and dirty water. But divers using ropes to rappel down into shafts say they've heard knocking and scraping noises below, while a second team is exploring a hole that may be another way for them to get into the cave.
I can hear water below. I can hear things dripping, which is a really good sign for us that there's something down there.
The wild card is weather, torrential rain slowing the rescue. The head of the operation telling NBC News they will not give up on their search, though he admits he's feeling the pressure with lives on the line. The 7 men, all local villagers, first went into the cave here to search for gold when a flash flood blocked the entrance. Now the clock is ticking as rescuers keep hope alive for another miracle.
And certainly the hope is that they do rescue those remaining people in there. Well, 4 nurses who contracted Ebola while treating infected patients are receiving special recognition. The World Health Organization presented each nurse with a certificate confirming they recovered. One nurse says that while checking on patients with his colleagues, he felt himself become sick. The WHO says there are 906 suspected cases and 223 suspected deaths from Ebola.
The FBI is now investigating a case involving a teenager who reportedly caused a United Airlines flight bound for Spain to return to the airport. Now listen to this. It all started because of what was thought to be a possible security threat.
We're going to be returning back to Newark at this time. Unfortunately, because of one person who doesn't want to comply with the instructions, and because of the foolishness of this one person that make a joke and it's not funny.
So the so-called joke was the name of a Bluetooth-connected device. It was the word bomb. The plane landed in Newark, where agents determined the device was a Fitbit owned by a 16-year-old on board. All the passengers were deplaned, searched again, then allowed to board a plane with a new crew bound for Spain. Boeing is considering a replacement for one of its troubled passenger jets. Boeing has reportedly met with Rolls-Royce Holdings in Great Britain to consider a new engine for the aircraft. The company is working on designs of the flight deck of a new narrow-body aircraft. Meanwhile, the company is still working on a backlog of 6,000 orders of planes. The 737 MAX jet faced major trouble following 2 deadly crashes related to the flight control software in 2018 and 2019. Then in 2024, a door plug panel blew off an Alaska Airlines 737 MAX 9 mid-flight.
And those are just some of the mishaps that have happened, Laura. Well, Hawaii's Kilauea volcano is showing increased activity and threatens to erupt again. Lava, you can see right here, was visible, flowing from craters as well as bubbling up and sending up smoke last night. This is video from the U.S. Geological Survey. The organization says a stronger eruption known as lava fountain could happen today. Kilauea has been experiencing an on and off eruption since late 2024. It's neat to look from a distance, Elizabeth. I'm glad that you don't have the volcano forecast for us. We don't need that where we are right now. If anything, it's the hurricane forecast, and it's one thing that you're keeping an eye on because today is the start of hurricane season.
It is, but I mean, that lava is so cool. I mean, wouldn't you just love to see that from a distance?
Like from
Yes.
over here, like like not over there, it's over here.
Well, it'd be really hot, you know, so you have to be safe. But man, the video of it is just outstanding. And yes, it is the first day of hurricane season. Here we are. It is June 1st. We'll start with a tropical outlook. The Hurricane Center has been putting out the tropical outlook since the middle of May because there have been numerous years where we've had systems develop in the month of May. As a matter of fact, we've had tropical systems every month of the year. It's just the other months we don't see them very often. Now, these two areas, which I'm sure you recognize as sort of a medium and a high risk for development, are all over in the Pacific Basin, and that's a different forecast, a different area. On a very rare occasion over here in Central America, you can see storms moving back and forth, but that is rare. So no tropical development in the Atlantic. We haven't seen any all year, and that's the way it looks like it will be for a while. Now, if we were to see anything develop this time of year, it's typically very close to the coast, so southeast coast or here in the Gulf. It's rare that we have systems developing in the Central Atlantic until we get closer to maybe August or September. We did our own WRAL tropical outlook this year, and it is for a season that's a below average, 11 to 14 named storms, and the average is 15. 5 to 7 would be hurricanes with an average of 7, and then 2 to 3 major hurricanes, and the average is 4. And the reason we went with a below average year, one of the reasons is we have a strong El Nino that's likely to develop, and that tends to bring strong winds in the upper levels of the atmosphere, which tears the storms apart. And so we may not have as many that form, which will be fine. We need the rain, but you know, if we're waiting for a tropical system, so much more bad stuff can happen along with it. It's a nice afternoon out there. We do have some big puffy cumulus clouds here over downtown Raleigh. It's 80 degrees and our dew point's at 62. And in terms of a summer dew point, that's still on the nice side. We're looking at 70s and 80s here on the map, 79 in Cary, 80 in Apex, 79 in Garner, 81 in Wake Forest. So it's pretty comfortable out there. And it is warmer than yesterday, anywhere from about 5 to 10 degrees warmer than where we were at noon yesterday. We are likely to climb into the mid to upper 80s for this afternoon. Yesterday's high was 81, so a little bit warmer. And we do have that small chance for showers and thunderstorms. Most of those would be south and east of Raleigh. And at 30%, the coverage will be pretty minimal, and it's also not likely to bring much heavy rain. Here's a look at our humidity. So most of it right now is going to be trapped along the coast or right near the South Carolina line. And then high pressure is going to dive down and help to really push that away. So tomorrow's going to be the primo day of the week to get outside. Humidity will be low. Temperatures will be dropping. Look at this. It goes whooshoo all the way down here into the refreshing zone Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then it begins to jump again as our temperatures heat up. Of course, the Stanley Cup Finals Game 1 is tomorrow night at Lenovo Center. It's going to be fantastic, feeling very comfortable for tailgating. I will talk more about the rest of the week, but look what happens. Thursday, not bad. But we move into the weekend and our temperatures get really hot. We'll talk about why and how long that trend could last coming up.
All right, sounds good, Elizabeth. Thanks for tracking that for us. Deeper dive into missing money. Frustration growing as residents demand answers about missing money and tough budget decisions. New at 4, we look at what auditors found and what it could mean for the town's future.
Plus, headed to the game with the Stanley Cup Final bringing big crowds to Raleigh, getting to the arena could be half the battle. Tonight at 5:30, 5 on Your Side looks at the pricey parking challenges fans are facing and shares more affordable options for getting to the game. And coming up next at noon, grocery store savings. You may be overpaying for your grocery staples and not even know it. 5 on Your Side shares the grocery chains with the best deals and where you could end up spending more.
Plus, chipping away at the competition. How processing chip maker NVIDIA could help change the AI industry. And just a reminder, if you see some breaking news, maybe you have a story tip or a video and pictures of weather where you are, so long as you can do so safely, report it to us at WRAL.com/report it. So as you know, 5 on Your Side is all about saving you money. Well, groceries are a great way to start. And that's why Keely Arthur is breaking down the cheapest grocery stores and the places where prices are much higher than you might expect.
Consumer Reports and 5 on Your Side tested grocery staples, everything from meat, produce, and frozen items. And the price gap was pretty stunning between the highest and lowest priced grocery stores. Sometimes the very same item cost 33% more. And when you add in club warehouses and specialty grocery stores, that gap grew even larger.
So where should you shop to save big? According to Consumer Reports investigation, where
warehouse clubs like Costco and BJ's often come out on top among the cheapest, usually about 20% less than Walmart. Discount chains like Aldi and Lidl are also among the most affordable options. Stores like Whole Foods and in some areas, even Trader Joe's can run 25 to nearly 40% higher than Walmart. But Consumer Reports says it is still possible to save a cartload of money with a little strategic planning.
Don't rely on just one store. Mixing trips between discount chains and traditional supermarkets, or buying some items in bulk while picking up specialty items elsewhere can really help you save.
Loyalty programs can also help you save, especially if you use the store's app to unlock digital deals. Before you head to the store, take stock of what you already have.
To see where your favorite grocery store is stacked up, we have the full list up on our website, WRAL.com/5 on your side. Keely Arthur, 5 on your side.
NVIDIA is moving into personal computers, launching a new chip that aims to chip away at Intel's dominance in the market. Starting this fall, the new chip will debut in laptops and desktop computers from leading brands including Dell and Lenovo and run on Microsoft Windows. NVIDIA says the chip will allow for powerful machines that are thin and light and enable PCs to better handle large AI models in high-end games. Generation Z is not only going to the movies, it's driving box office growth. Gen Zers could be the ticket to reviving the movie industry. Data showed last year Gen Zers saw an average of 7 movies in theaters compared to Gen X and baby boomers who averaged 6 films. While Gen Zers are selective about their spending, they are willing to pay for experiences, particularly social activities that they can do with their friends.
Tonight, the final 6 teams in the soccer tournament will compete for 3 $1 million prizes. In the mixed division, Sneaky FC will take on the Paluche Hawks. In the women's division, it's Simply Football FC versus the Iowa Demon Hawks. Both teams are making their TST debut this year. And in the men's division, the runner-ups, the Pumas de Alabama, will play Hernandez United. Gates open at Wake Med Soccer Park in Cary at 4:30, and the first game starts at 6 p.m.
Shaky ceasefire. Peace talks are on hold between the U.S. and Iran after both sides exchanged attacks. The accusations from both sides for the uptick in violence.
Plus, new rules for the 2026 World Cup. We're going to run down the list of changes fans will notice in this year's tournament. We also have a look at your winning lottery numbers, just in case you missed it from yesterday, right here on your screen.
Happening now in the WRAL Live Center. If you're with us at the top of the broadcast, we were following that news conference with Coach Brendamore and the GM, Eric Tulsky. Well, it just wrapped up just a short time ago, and Coach Brendamore was asked about the emotions of the last few days and what it's been like and what it's like to prepare for the Stanley Cup. Take a listen.
This is where we've thought we should be for a long time, and it's just been a long road. And I'm just thrilled for the guys to have this opportunity now. And that's, like I said, that feels like for 8 years we've been talking about getting this chance. So we're finally here, and, you know, obviously we want to make the most of it.
And you're saying there's a chance. So when asked about the coaches who influenced him over the years, he named a coach by the name of Barry McKenzie. He said, Barry McKenzie. He says he was his coach back when he was 15, 16, 17 years old. He says he still uses the lessons learned back then today.
That's what they always say, the fundamentals when it comes to teaching sports. All right, thanks. 4 wins away from the second Stanley Cup championship. Games 1 and 2 are happening at Lenovo Center, and fans wasted no time scooping up those tickets. Games 3 and 4 are in Las Vegas, so the team could bring home the title while out of state. Count on WRAL for complete team coverage of the Stanley Cup final. Tomorrow, we are going to take you live to Lenovo Center throughout our evening newscast and after the game, both on air and online.
The U.S. military said it carried out what it called self-defense strikes on Iranian radar and drone control sites over the weekend. Meanwhile, Iran said it targeted an airbase used in the U.S. attack as the two countries continue to trade strikes amid talks to end their war. NBC's Richard Engel reports from Israel.
The
There have been new exchanges of fire between Iran and the U.S. while the world is still waiting for President Trump and Iran's top leaders to agree to a ceasefire. The U.S. military says it carried out attacks against what it called radar sites and command and control locations inside Iran. Iran responding by firing missiles and drones at Kuwait, where there are many U.S. troops based. There were no reports of any casualties, but this does complicate ceasefire negotiations. Also complicating the talks, Iran insists that any deal must also include Lebanon. But the war between Israel and Hezbollah in Lebanon is only intensifying, with Israeli troops who are already inside Lebanon pushing deeper, and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu saying just today in a video statement that Israeli troops will begin attacking Dahieh, which is the southern suburb of Beirut, where Hezbollah has long had a stronghold. Netanyahu says that as long as Hezbollah has a safe haven and continues to carry out attacks against northern Israel, the war in Lebanon will intensify. Richard Engel, NBC News, Tel Aviv.
So this weekend, President Trump sent back changes to a proposed deal to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. However, the exact changes he requested in the agreement have not been made clear.
Well, tonight, an increase to your Wake County property taxes could be approved. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey shares why the average homeowner in Raleigh could pay more in property taxes next year.
Wake County homeowners could see the impact of those higher property taxes in 2027. Tonight, county leaders will meet here inside the Wake County Justice Center to make their final decision. Wake County Manager David Ellis proposed a $2.3 billion budget. It comes with a 2-cent property tax increase. That would mean the average homeowner in Raleigh would pay $90 more. Earlier this month, Ellis called the upcoming fiscal year, quote, the most challenging one yet. He says without the extra revenue, the county would need to make significant cuts, including slashing funding for education, reducing operating hours, or scaling back program investments. Leaders are expected to vote tonight at 5 o'clock. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News in Raleigh.
Well, Durham leaders are trying to get ahead on the topic of data centers. Some local townships have put temporary moratoriums on these facilities, and the Durham County manager is asking the board to provide direction on future data center policy discussions.
President Donald Trump now says that he will host the opening ceremony for the Great American State Fair. That decision comes after several performing artists pulled out of the event's concert series. As Gabe Gutierrez reports, what appears to be driving the backlash is a perception that Freedom 250 is more closely aligned with the Trump administration than a celebration of Americans.
This morning, President Trump is preparing to kick off America's 250th birthday celebration himself after several performers dropped out of America's State Fair. The president now saying that instead he may focus the country's landmark birthday on a campaign-style rally, quote, bringing the #1 attraction anywhere in the world, Donald J. Trump, adding the original event should be canceled and that the singers, quote, do nothing but complain.
Some musicians seem to have segmented their audiences the same way, politicians have. But this is Freedom 250, and the celebration of the 250 is a nonpartisan event.
But several artists originally scheduled to perform disagree. Martina McBride saying she was initially told it would be a nonpartisan event, but that turned out to be misleading. She, along with Poison's Bret Michaels, rapper Young MC, and Milli Vanilli, backed out.
Go Ninja, go Ninja, go.
Vanilla Ice, meanwhile, has not, posting this is not a political platform. This is celebrating America's birthday.
This is the problem with Trump. He's a divider in chief.
President Trump urging organizers to cancel the fair, just like he canceled his involvement with the Kennedy Center after a federal judge ruled Friday that his name must come off the building. He'd wanted to close the performing arts venue for 2 years for renovations and is now suggesting the landmark will collapse both structurally and financially without his time and money. The president also lashing out at the judge, and he's frustrated at mounting legal challenges, including attempts to stop construction of his planned White House ballroom.
The ballroom will be right here.
While Democrats have argued Trump does not have the right to renovate the White House without Congress, the president says the opposition is just political.
Only because it's me.
And that was Gabe Gutierrez reporting. Numerous events marking America 250 will also take place here in North Carolina. You can find a list on WRAL.com and search America 250.
Well, financial planners are warning people who have student loans to be careful taking on new student debt. That's especially because new high-stakes rules take effect in a month. You see, new student loan borrowers will have fewer repayment and debt forgiveness options starting July 1st. The updates are the result of President Donald Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill Act. Advisors say after July 1st, people on repayment plans who take out new student loans will have to follow a whole new set of rules. That includes possibly having to move off their desired repayment plan if it was eliminated. And college students facing pressure to be perfect could increase their risk for mental health disorders. A new study found students became increasingly more concerned with being perfect between the years 1989 and 2024. In fact, researchers found additional burdensome behaviors have become increasingly common. That includes fear of failure, indecisiveness, and fear of being judged by others. The study shows those behaviors increased much faster than the motivation to set high standards and work hard to achieve them.
World Cup makeover. More teams, more matches, and more countries chasing soccer's biggest prize. Coming up, what's changing when FIFA kicks off its new era?
Plus, call it a sprinkler surprise. Sprinklers suddenly erupted in the middle of the UCLA-Texas Tech showdown during the Women's College World Series. How the unexpected delay left players scrambling and fans soaking in the chaos. For your news, traffic, and weather of the day, be sure to download the WRAL News app and keep it updated. Well, America's Got Talent returns to NBC tomorrow night, followed by a new season of Password with Jimmy Fallon and host Keke Palmer.
And last season, the show reached more than 32 million viewers, with the network looking to build on that success. Mark Barger has a preview.
We're about to play Password!
But watching the game,
Style, swagger,
rock,
punk,
and playing the game are very different.
You think it's easy when you watch at home, but when you're playing the game and the lights are on and the contestants are here, and we're trying to win real contestants real money.
Yeah,
they're like
$25,000 on the line.
You get so nervous, you start freaking out, and you say the silliest words you say. You go, why would I say that? But that's what keeps it fun.
Jimmy Fallon and a bevy of stars
Trumpet
could have even more at stake for contestants.
Announcer. In your face, Jimmy. In your face. They will change their life if they win all of this money. I mean, what $25,000 does to someone's life? It's just awesome. I mean,
If they can master
dough.
Pineapple?
the show's simple, fun wordplay.
Meatballs. Spaghetti. Yeah!
I mean, what do you prefer? Do you prefer giving the clues or getting the clues?
I prefer giving, I think.
Yeah, right?
Because I think I'm like into it. I'm like, but sometimes I'm in my head and they're not in my head at all.
But they should be into host Keke Palmer's style.
I cannot let the folks down. When it comes to the glasses and the looks, we got to give you camp and flamboyance all day.
And big money,
Marcel.
Snail?
for just the right clue. Mark Barker, NBC Entertainment.
And Password returns tomorrow night at 10 right here on WRAL, right after America's Got Talent.
Yeah, looks like it's going to be a good time. All right, so we're talking about the new World Cup rules. A lot has changed for the rules of the FIFA World Cup since the last one 4 years ago. So we'll give you a rundown of the updated rules you can expect.
And lasting legacy. One class is going out on top for their over-the-top senior prank, how they pulled off their mischievous master plan. Welcome back. You're taking a live look at Pittsburgh this noon and watching WRAL News, available on Spectrum and the WRAL app on your TV or streaming device.
All right, so if you've been paying attention, the next FIFA World Cup kicks off in 10 days. And Caroline Elliott helps get you up to speed on the new tournament format, including the rules as well.
Before you get in front of the TV or head to one of the 16 stadiums to watch one of this year's 104 World Cup matches, you might need a refresh on how the game is played. And who better to explain it than the U.S. men's national soccer team captain, Tim Ream, who also made this year's World Cup roster.
It will be the biggest sporting event ever. And on top of that, it's being hosted in 3 countries, which has never been done before, and expanding it and giving an opportunity to 16 more teams.
The new expanded format is one of the biggest changes to this year's tournament, growing from 32 to 48 teams that will be divided into 12 groups of 4. The top 2 teams from each group plus 8 of the third-place teams will advance to the knockout rounds, sending teams home after just 1 loss until it's whittled down to the 2 final teams.
Every match matters. Every result, every point is going to matter in this tournament.
Each match consists of 2 45-minute halves in regulation.
Potentially 120 in the knockout stages because you can't have ties in those games.
If the game is tied after regulation, it goes into extra time, played in 2 15-minute halves. After extra time, if there's not a winner, it goes to a 5-round penalty kick shootout, and if it's still tied, it goes to sudden death.
Well, there's Caroline Elliott with that story, and the World Cup starts June 11th. You can catch all the action on Fox 50.
UCLA and Texas Tech got an unexpected reprieve this weekend during a high-stakes elimination game in the Women's College World Series.
Victoria Valdez just stopped Caitlin Terry. The sprinklers are going off. 8th inning sprinklers. Oh, my word.
So in the bottom of 8th inning of the Texas Tech UCLA game in the Women's College World Series, the sprinklers went off, as you just saw, and right on cue, the booth played Rihanna's 2008 Grammy Award-winning hit Umbrella. Play resumed minutes later. Number 11 Texas moves on to the semifinals for the 2nd straight season after eliminating number 8 UCLA. I mean, something out of a movie. Umbrella playing right on cue. That is something right there, Elizabeth.
That is so funny. That's a memorable game.
Yeah, can you imagine being in a stands and just seeing that? You would think that it was staged.
Yeah, it was awesome. Hey,
Yeah.
I think a lot of people wish that we needed an umbrella this afternoon, and it kind of looks like it.
Yeah,
I mean,
it does.
It's pretty gray out there. There are a few isolated showers or thunderstorms in our forecast, but, not what we really need. I'm going to show you how much rain we are in need of, specifically at RDU coming up. But as we take a look across Durham, you can see just a couple of spots where it's blue. It's variable. We have some areas where it's fairly overcast, others where it's clearly just partly cloudy. Our temperature in the triangle, 80 degrees, and our dew point 62, which now that it is sort of unofficially summer, that's a comfortable number there, that 62. Earlier this morning, we had a couple of tiny showers that kind of rolled across parts of our viewing area, but nothing happening right now. Definitely some showers and maybe a few thunderstorms closer to the coast. And it does look like we have a few of those that are popping up with some moisture that's coming across the mountains. Notice what's happening back here in Tennessee and then down into the deep south. That's where some severe storms will be, definitely some heavy rain and the potential for some wind damage. We're just not going to see that. But here in the Piedmont and in the foothills, a few isolated cells are popping up. So again, we certainly have the potential to see that along the front as it continues to dive southward. Here's a look at Futurecast. As we go through the afternoon, this is noon, and then we push it forward into the middle of the afternoon. And that's when we begin to see maybe an isolated sprinkle, little shower, a better chance for a thunderstorm along and east of I-95, potentially near Goldsboro or Fayetteville. The thunderstorms with the heavier rain will definitely be few and far between. We look ahead, tomorrow's just nice and quiet. By Wednesday through Friday, we see a low developing offshore. It stays offshore. We don't see rain from this, but if you're headed to the beach late week or over the weekend, it could sit here and create some high rip current danger and some heavy surf. So keep that in mind if you're headed to the beach this weekend. From once we get into this evening, we're dry all the way through Friday, and the rain that we could see in the next 7 days looks more focused along the coast, of course, closer to that low, and of course that's where just more moisture is. The rest of our viewing area, it just looks really slim. Maybe some of our southern counties seeing up to 1/4 of an inch, but of course that's just a drop in the bucket. This is not surprising. This is the driest year to date at RDU. So far we've had 8.3 inches of rain, and our deficit is almost 9 inches. So we still have a long way to go to get back in the swing of things. We do have dry weather, which is going to make for some really fun evenings out at the Lenovo Center. Lots of events planned pre-game. Tuesday looks great, 78 for the high. Thursday, for Game 2 at the Lenovo Center for Stanley Cup, we're just looking at some nice conditions. It'll be a little bit warmer on Thursday. We get into the weekend, and that summer heat. Temperatures in the mid-90s Saturday and Sunday.
All right, thanks for that breakdown for us, Elizabeth. Well, you should probably call this next story prank perfection, as more than 100 students managed to pull off the ultimate senior prank.
No one was harmed in the planning or execution of this. Reaction from the person at the center of this trick when we return.
Well, as we wrap things up, here's a look at a few of the headlines that we're following for today. A Wake Med police officer accused of kidnapping and assaulting a woman appeared in court for the first time today. A judge set a $250,000 bond for Jeremy Bone. He's charged with several things, as we mentioned. Assaulting that woman is one of them. And he is accused of pointing a rifle at the woman, as well as cutting off some of her clothes with a box cutter. Bone is not allowed to contact her, and Wake Med confirms Bone was suspended from his role as a police officer after being arrested.
A North Carolina officer seen punching a woman in a video circulating on social media is now facing charges. The SBI charged Shelby police officer Carson Hyder with assault inflicting serious injury. This is all connected to an investigation into excessive use of force stemming from this video. The 22-year-old officer turned himself into the Cleveland County Detention Center this morning. He was released on a $10,000 secured bond. He was fired over the weekend.
Well, excitement is building for the Canes' run in the Stanley Cup final for the first time in 20 years. Games 1 and 2 against the Vegas Golden Knights are here at home. The first playing out tomorrow. Not long ago, Coach Rob Brindamore and GM Eric Tulsky spoke about the excitement during a news conference. You can hear from them on WRAL.com and our WRAL YouTube channel. Count on WRAL for complete team coverage of the Stanley Cup final on air and online.
The senior class of Northwest Guilford County High School pulled off an epic senior prank by starting their final day at school with their principal.
You got me. You 100% got me.
So what are all those students doing there? Well, they wanted to say good morning. Doorbell cam video shows the students plotting their entrance. The seniors say that they wanted to include their principal as a way to give back to him after all he's done for them.
It was wholesome. It was fun. I appreciate it. Honestly, I took it as kind of an honor that they thought to include me in on the senior prank in such a harmless way.
He wants a very good relationship with every individual student, not just a group of students he has. He wants to know your name. He wants to get to know you. He wants to make sure you have the best life in 10 to 15 years.
There were 130 people in this group chat, and his entire family was in on the prank. One of the students even got to the house the key from the principal's son. The students woke up him by blasting Pomp and Circumstance and then Justin Bieber. So funny.
So I'd probably say, play our kids doing in my house. Keep up to date with all your news with the WRAL News app. Have a blessed day.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.